That time I got reincarnated as a slime again? BY is StaciaPLE. Rimuru had been called to attend Walpurgis by none other than Guy himself. Realizing the dire situation, Rimuru makes haste to attend the banquet. But before he could properly arrive, right in the middle of the transfer, an unknown and mysterious power sent Rimuru back in time. Back to his very first appearance as a slime. Chapter 34, Demon Lord's Debut 4. Waha! That was extremely entertaining, Rimuru. I would have liked for it to last longer. Milim didn't question my power, instead, she just ignored it and praised the fight instead. StaciaPLE had overdone herself again this time. I can feel my senses and my strength rising with every second that passes by. The other demon lords were simply silent, some with their heads down. Wait, Rimuru, before I end the meeting. Guy shot an intense glare at me, causing the other demon lords to panic once more, fearing another deadly fight. But I kind of know where this is going, so I just wore a neutral expression. Since our numbers have gone down, our name, 10 Great Demon Lords, became unsuitable. Would you kindly give us a new name? Guy didn't have the leisure to casually threaten me like last time, so he acted like a friend instead, requesting something I would have normally turned down. Sure. Since there are only 8 of us now, shall we call ourselves the 8-Star Demon Lords? I've associated it with the name Octogram. The Demon Lords thought deeply at my words. Soon, they began to agree simultaneously. Great! Looks like we have an agreement. As expected of you, Rimuru. Please, I already knew, so you getting enthusiastic now will give me weird feelings. With that, Guy announced the end of the banquet. Like before, some went home as soon as it ended, while some stayed behind to chat. I was about to go home myself, but Guy stopped me. Rimuru! Why not stay for a little chat? And get interrogated by you? No way in hell. Rude. Anyone would question what the hell they just saw. Milim, of all people, ended up like that? What kind of power are you hiding? I just mentioned I didn't want to answer questions, yet here he is wrapping his arm around my shoulder so that I wouldn't run away, questioning me. I simply used all my power in that last attack, happy. Oh, I see, as if. You're not fooling my eyes, Rimuru. Aren't you supposed to be dignified? What happened to that persona? Thanks for the jokes, StaciaPLE. What? Cut the bullshit. Explain, now. His voice got a bit threatening, which made me jump out of reflex. What do I do now? Scare him? You are not helping. Let's see. I enhanced my abilities at that last second. How I did so was because of the magical energy that Milim herself leaked out. All I did was turn that said energy to match my own and held it back until that very last moment, allowing me to conjure enough power to weaken Milim. Satisfied. Thanks to my daily lessons with StaciaPLE, my knowledge has greatly improved, which allowed me to make up lies on the spot. Amazing, Master. That was one strategy we could have used. Apparently, StaciaPLE thought it was a viable strategy we could have potentially used. I guess they weren't all lies after all. Okay, that seems fairly reasonable, but how exactly did you convert the energy? Let's use that one excuse Raphael made for me a while back when Guy visited me after the war with the Empire. My ultimate skill allows me to convert any and all energy to match my own. Of course, the energy of a soul is included. Which, by the way, do you have any spare souls I could use? What do you need the souls for? If I tell you, will you promise not to freak out? You make it sound like you're doing something against the rules. But sure, I have a ton to spare. Great. Then I need approximately 1.5 million souls. They're for awakening my men. Of course, I'll awaken yours too. Do you not have enough? By awakening, do you mean becoming a true demon lord? Yes. Then why didn't you say so? Guy gave up on thinking, didn't he? He immediately sent me 1.8 million souls, 300,000 more than what I requested. Just take them all. I don't really have any need for them anyway. I feel bad for Guy, so I'll awaken Miss Rain and Miss Mizari now. Don't worry, this won't hurt. I raised both of my hands in front of their faces. StaciaPLE. I'm on it. In that instant, both Mizari and Rain felt sleepy instantaneously. I caught the two with my arms to support them. Master, please don't get distracted by small things. To you, it may seem like a small thing, but I should probably focus. StaciaPLE's silence sent shivers down my back. I should probably let them go. I'm getting constant dangerous signals right now. Though I initially decided to leave, I wanted to stay now. Ramina's noticed I was planning on staying, so she decided to stay too. Only 2 people left the meeting, those being Fry and Leon. Although a few demon lords were reluctant to talk to me, they almost immediately released that reluctance, seeing as I had no bad intentions. So Rimuru-san, did Guy really recommend you to join? De Gruul asked. Yes, he was quite annoying going about it, sending me a demon from time to time in order to remind me. That was only because you kept refusing to meet everyone I sent. Don't blame me, blame Diawolo. He reported to me saying these exact lines, Lord Rimuru, I have noticed quite a few insects have started to approach you, so I decided to dispose of them before they inconvenience you. Then I investigated what he meant by insects and found out that you were the one behind those demons. Ah, I should have known. Where is that guy anyway? You brought 2 other people besides him. I thought for sure you would have brought him with you. Hey, don't be rude. Shuna and Shan are 2 of my closest companions. Besides, would you be happy if I had brought Diawolo? Probably not. You win, forget me saying those things earlier. Hey Dino. Get your ass over here. Why don't you introduce yourself to Rimuru? Fine. Since the room was quite spacious, their shouting echoed throughout the hall. You're Rimuru, right? Well, it's nice to meet you. My name is Dino. There, happy. Likewise. Hey, Dino, you bastard, how dare you act listless in front of me? The mood was essentially the same as a drinking party, which brought me the comfort of nostalgia. Well, good food is the only thing left, right? Shuna, can you prepare some food? Guy, can you allow me to use the kitchen for a little bit? Aho, so you're saying you can prepare food for us, the octagram. Guy's tone sounded provoking, but Shuna remained composed, as expected of her. Ramina's, you've tasted the food of Tempest before, right? I have more dishes to introduce than that. Really? The food you served back then was already quite the feast for me. If you have more, then I would gladly taste it, Ramina said with much enthusiasm. Let's go, Shuna. Right. What is this divine taste? Guy proclaimed. Unbelievable. Guy, the dishes you served were quite delicious, but his food is on a whole different level. Ramiris exclaimed. Waha! See! No one can beat my bestie in just about anything. Milim boasted. They were all happily crying with tears of joy. I only supervised since Shuna isn't as confident as the past Shuna, the only thing I helped with was words of encouragement. I'm pathetic. I gotta say, Rimuru, you surpass every and all expectations I had. Is that so? I did say I was raising a nation, and good food equals a good country. With that, I had entered the octagram, and I think I'm held in a positive light, I hope so. I wouldn't want to piss off any of the members of the octagram. Chapter 35, Demon Army. Lady Ramina's, I see you have returned. How did it go? Oh, Hinata. Well, it's not an exaggeration if I say it went disastrously well. A new fella joined, and while doing so, killed Clayman in the funniest and most entertaining way possible. Seriously, that guy has no limits when it comes to power. Excuse my rudeness, but who exactly is he? Ah, his name is Rimuru, the one who you challenged to a fight before." Upon hearing so, Hinata's face paled as she remembered the person she had fought a few days ago. "You're quite lucky, Hinata. If it weren't for that man's benevolence, you wouldn't be here now, talking to me." Ruminaza's words sank right into Hinata's heart. She regretted carelessly challenging such an opponent without heavy preparation, especially as her master highly evaluated him herself. "I know what you're thinking, that you regret not preparing for such an opponent. But you know." Ruminaz leaned in, close enough that her lips were touching Hinata's ears. "Everyone I know, including me, including the other demon lords, would be defeated under his overwhelming power." Although it was a gentle and calm voice, the contents made Hinata shake uncontrollably. She knew from the moment she saw him that he was no ordinary person. Yet, she had dared to attack him. It was true that she was lucky the one she challenged was Rimuru. If it were someone else? She began to think of the possibilities had Rimuru attacked her, and it was horrifying. "Well, in any case, I got him to promise not to kill you. Don't worry, I don't think he'd kill without any reason at all, and besides, there's more to all of this than you think." "Yes, understood, Lady Ruminaz." "Man, that was tiring." "Good work, Lord Rimuru," Shuna said. "You were really amazing," Shun shouted. "Amazing?" Was she talking about the time when I beat up Clayman, or when Milim and I had a duel? I couldn't tell. "More importantly, did you finish what I had asked you to do, Shuna?" "Yes, all done like you requested." "Great. Now go and tell the others for me. I've got something else to do in the meantime." With that, Shuna elegantly bowed her head. "Now then, I wonder what I have in store for me next." Incoming report. Individual Diawolo has requested your presence in the underworld, Lord Rimuru. Ah, right on time. But why would he tell you, Sile, and not me? I'm guessing for formalities, Master. Ah, that's right. That guy likes to make everything grand. Well, let us go, shall we? Yes, Master. Everyone, be on your best behavior. Diawolo's voice reverberated throughout the spacious, endless area filled with countless demons. If any of you make a mistake during his presence, I will personally end you. Testarossa warned the demons, which made them prostrate even further. Come on, Testarossa, cut them some slack. I've already annihilated the rude bunch earlier, Carrera said. Don't you think there are still some left? I mean, we agreed to make this perfect and all. Wouldn't want to mess it up by suddenly getting a rebellion going, Ultima replied. Kufufu, no matter. Just have your minions ready in case someone rebels. With this vast amount of demons, Lord Rimuru will surely be pleased. Yes, before them, an endless count of demons prostrated. Unlike Diawolo's previous 700-strong demon army, this was far more potent and numerous. Get ready. I have sent Lord Rimuru the invitation, he'll be arriving soon. At Diawolo's words, the demons grew more and more anxious. Some even feared the unknown Rimuru as their predecessors mentioned his name. Then, an immensely dense magicule energy started to gather in the middle of the throne prepared by the four primordials. That densely suffocating amount of magicules was enough to glue every demon's eyes toward it. Soon, the magicule sphere started to take shape, growing out limbs much like evolution. The demons fell silent before their very eyes. The form took the appearance of a person capable of rivaling even the most beautiful of gods. As Rimuru looked down with golden eyes, the demons could only freeze. Not knowing what to do, they panicked. As Testarossa feared, there were still rebellious demons among the countless aligned. However, due to the appearance of Rimuru and his commanding, dominant aura, they were shut up with sheer pressure alone. So? Would you care to explain, Diawolo? Rimuru spoke. Understood. What we have gathered here today is what we present to you as an offering, Diawolo said as he kneeled to the ground along with the primordial trio. Every single demon we could find, we captured and presented to you, Lord Rimuru. As you have been ever so kind, worrying about our health due to overwork, we have gathered subordinates as you requested, even though most, if not all of them, are small fry. Diablo and the trio knew that as diamonds, overworking wasn't a problem for them whatsoever. However, due to Diablo's nature, he took it as a divine blessing, essentially translating Rimuru's words in his own way. Sure, but isn't this too much? No, no, never, my lord. There can never be too much. In fact, I had wished to capture demons from the rogue lineage too, but that untamed bunch would never be respectful toward Lord Rimuru, so I sent them to hell. As usual, Rimuru found Diablo's words excessive. However, Rimuru had a smile on his face, reminiscing about the past. Still, even Rimuru could not take in this many demons all at once, so he decided to test them. He stood up, slowly walking toward the crowd of demons. Diablo had a look of wonder and excitement, while the trio was simply curious as to what their master was planning to do next. Rise, my demons! Countless demons stood as he commanded, those who did not simply died on the spot. I'm sure you all had a tough time, but that ends now. Go, be free. The demons felt intense pressure. It was extremely tempting for them to leave right then and there, but like before, countless demons still stood before him. Good. You seem to be willing to work under me if you stayed. As he spoke, the immense pressure grew ever stronger. Do you have what it takes? Some demons started to kneel, not because of their own will, but because of the sheer pressure forcing them to. Do you expect to serve me well? His voice, so divine, reverberated throughout the endless counts of demons. I will give you a choice once more. You are free to leave. Go on, do as you wish. Then, numerous demons started to run, fleeing in fear. But little did they know, the biggest mistake they could make was turning their backs against the being named Rimuru. Before they could even run a meter away, their heads were cut down, their souls broken. Their masters had warned them not to turn their backs against Rimuru, yet they gave in to temptation and forgot. How wonderfully done, Lord Rimuru! Diablo shouted. With that, the demons we were worried about were immediately smoked out. Testarossa exclaimed. Amazing! Carrera simply stared in awe. We were fools to worry. It is our master, after all, Lord Rimuru himself, Ultima boasted cheerfully. Now. You four keep your chit-chat to a minimum. Yes, the four proudly answered. Then I officially accept you. Welcome, my demons. I will not make you regret choosing me as your master. Then, in a chain-like fashion, every demon, including the four primordials, was given power stronger than what they could imagine. This was possible because Rimuru had received the souls from Guy. Rimuru awakened the four demon primordials before him and personally helped them, guiding them to a suitable and optimal evolution. This allowed the countless demons to receive similar powers to their predecessors, making every single demon here capable of becoming a one-man army. Truly, Rimuru's military powers were stronger and more deadly than before. The world's collapse was at Rimuru's hands, though he wouldn't do such a thing. That's why Guy, who was informed of this little gathering, decided not to interfere. Even if he did, he'd gain an unfavorable opinion from Rimuru. The Black Numbers, the strongest and largest military unit in Tempest, was once again born. Chapter 36, Kidnapped. Shizu-sensei. Over here. Over in Ingracia, Shizu was happily spending her time with the kids. Every day had been fulfilling, at least, that is what she thought. Rimuru had left her to take care of the kids over 2 weeks ago. She had been nothing but happy since. After all, when she thought she would die, one of her biggest regrets was her failure at keeping the kids safe. She thought back on the events that had happened since Rimuru appeared. From the bottom of her heart, every day, she sent a prayer thanking her encounter with Rimuru. Had he not been there, she would have died, and the kids too. As of right now, she was taking a stroll into town with the kids. She had often been asked questions about Rimuru by the children. Of course, she chose the right time and place to answer, as per request by Rimuru himself. Somehow, talking about Rimuru made her happy, no matter how trivial it might seem. Kenya, Ryota, and Gale had all asked about Rimuru's power, while Alice and Chloe asked about him personally. The kids had received training from Rimuru, as well as equipment. They occasionally did mock battles in order to train. As merciless as Shizu could be, they showed major signs of growth because of that. "Chloe, what are you looking at?" Shizu asked. "This. Do you want me to get that book for you?" "Really? You don't have to always buy what I want, Sensei." "It's fine, really. This is the only way I can spoil you guys. Sensei's got a lot of money. But most of it was thanks to Rimuru, of course." He was somehow replenishing her pockets, even though she said she was fine. She couldn't tell them that. "Ah. It's Yoshida-san. Are you opening the shop?" "Ah, Alice, was it?" "Yes, I'm in the process of opening." "Yay! Shizu-sensei, you said you were going to buy us some cupcakes if I landed a hit," Kenya said. "But that was only her hair," a timid Ryota said. "But that counts, doesn't it?" "I mean, technically it does," Gale replied. "Stupid boys. Let's use the money we saved up," Chloe, Alice said. "Yes." "Wait, what money? Who gave you that? Was it me? Since when did you two start saving up? Was it because of Rimuru?" Perhaps that may be the case. When they first visited here, Rimuru had explained something about money. Shizu mostly got what he was trying to say, but the kids seemed to have gotten lost halfway. It was then that the two girls, Chloe and Alice, had asked Rimuru something by themselves. During their talk, their eyes lit up like wildfire. But still, where and when did the two of them get that much money? "Chloe, Alice, let's talk about your little savings later, okay?" "Oh, okay." Busted. After that, Shizu, Chloe, and Alice ate Yoshida-san's freshly baked cupcakes. They were as good as always. Yoshida-san mentioned that he had asked for Rimuru's advice once to make a certain type of dessert. Oh well, getting lost in thought and not savoring these cupcakes would be a waste. Oh, if it isn't Shizu-sensei. "Yuki? I'm surprised to see you here. I'm just getting some desserts. My assistant has been asking for a taste for a while." "Is that so? Well, the desserts here are good, so your assistant will be pleased." "Ha ha, I hope so as well. She can be quite cold if I make a mistake." Rimuru had warned her about Yuki. Although she was a bit reluctant to believe it at first, he sounded like he had experienced these things himself. She didn't think someone like Yuki would have been on Rimuru's bad side. But that didn't mean she didn't believe Rimuru. In fact, she might very well be relying on him more than she thought she was. Rimuru didn't want to confront Yuki himself, so that must mean something that he wasn't certain of. "Do you mind if I sit here, Shizu-sensei?" "Oh no, go ahead." As of now, she was a bit hesitant to speak toward Yuki. He had noticed that, and she believed she had failed at hiding her suspicions against him. "Shizu-sensei, do you know how Rimuru-san managed to save the kids?" asked Yuki. "To be honest with you, I only saw what he did from a good few meters back. So I can't really say anything for certain. All I'm aware of is that Rimuru had used something to control their rampant magicules." "I see. Perhaps he used some sort of device to do so. But I don't really see anything odd in or outside the kids, so he must have done something in other ways." He had already deduced one possibility, even though she had taken measures to be sure they wouldn't run into him very often. He was an intelligent student, so this was natural. "What do you think, Shizu-sensei?" She couldn't lie outright, since he would most likely see through her if she did. "I can't really say. What happened was way beyond my comprehension. I'm not as smart as you, so you may be disappointed if you ask me more." "Fair enough. I'm sorry for the trouble, Shishu-sensei. It's fine. The kids seem to have finished eating. It was nice talking to you in the meantime. It had been 2 days since Diawolo called Rimuru to the underworld, and Rimuru had a lot to say. What is going on right now? In front of his eyes were the demons he had recently recruited, constructing a massive statue near the center of the city. How was that even possible? The old Tempest had built a statue of him as a slime in an extremely elegant way, but now they were making both his humanoid and slime forms. The demons rotating between construction, reformation, and sculpting at great speeds was more mind-blowing than expected. Even Geld was singing praises while many monsters were prostrating. One could guess what facial expression Rigard must be using now amidst that mass of people. So, who was behind this? Well, everyone. Diawolo being the main culprit. Apparently, he had gathered the executives around with the help of Shun. He supposedly sang a full-on concert of praise for Rimuru, with an encore, and slipped this plan in bit by bit. You can imagine how much Rimuru had been trying to avoid going out in public because of this. It was incredibly embarrassing. Before he knew it, Tempest citizens were holding a full-on festival. Ah, Rimuru-sama. Eek! What is your business, Shuna? To choose your outfit, of course. For what? For you to grant us your presence when the statue is done. I'm screwed. Do I really have to dress all fancy? I can go outside like this just fine, you know. No, that would be a total waste, Rimuru-sama. Can I compromise? No. Screw it, it's my duty as the ruler to tend to my citizens' needs. I can't bail now. Fine. Emergency, Rimuru-sama. Incoming encrypted message from Shishu. Chloe has been kidnapped. What? Most of the message has been intercepted. The only part that reached was, Chloe is gone, taken by Yuki. I need, come now. Chloe, captured. Warning, Master's magicules are rapidly exerting with dangerous force. Individual Shuna. Shut up for a second. I've already made a barrier for her. Locate Chloe's whereabouts. In the meantime. Where are you going, Rimuru-sama? Shuna, listen carefully. Something urgent has happened, and I need to attend to it no matter what. Tell them that I'm busy with something else. Don't tell them where I'm going, they'll get in my way if they do. Understood. I will do as you wish, Rimuru-sama. Rimuru-sama, I have confirmed the one behind Chloe's kidnapping. The evidence leads to Yuki Kagurazaka. Oh? I didn't think he had the balls to try anything against me, but it seems he's wishing for my attention seeing as he dared kidnap my precious student. Yuki Kagurazaka, be aware, I'm coming for you. Chapter 37, Wrath. After eating at Yoshida-san's shop, Shishu and the kids continued their stroll while keeping an eye out for the person following them. What's wrong, Shishu-sensei? Chloe asked. It's nothing, I'm just thinking about something. Shishu patted Chloe's head. If you say so. They had been strolling around town for a while and had mostly covered the city. Shishu wanted the kids to go back to the school, but they protested, saying they wanted to go outside the city. We want to go outside. Kenya asked. Ryota agreed. But? I don't know if the head teacher will allow it. It's fine. Shishu-sensei is strong after all. What do I do if something happens to them while we go outside? Please? Just this one time. Even the girls had started to join in. In the past, Shishu had taken them out of the city before, but there were circumstances she had to consider now with the dangers surrounding Yuki. She would feel guilty if she took the kids outside without telling Rimuru. Their pleas made it all the harder for her to reject them. What do I do? It hurts my conscience to blatantly reject them here. All right, fine. But under one condition, don't wander off. You must stay close to me under any circumstances. Right, they agreed. Confirmation, there is a slight possibility that Chloe's location is safe. Safe? What makes you say that? A kidnapping is a kidnapping, there's nothing safe about that. I noticed a familiar voice in Shizu's message. Although faint, it appeared to be someone who knew Shizu. What? Can I take that to mean the one who did the actual kidnapping is someone Shizu knew? Yes, that assumption is correct. Then that makes things easier. I'm not a detective, so I'll just ask everyone Shizu knows. StaciaPLE had also told me that Shizu, along with Chloe, had been captured. Her last message hinted that she had fought before being captured. StaciaPLE, can you track where the last known location of Shizu was? As you command, Rimuru-sama. In the meantime, I had ordered Sue to start investigating immediately, making sure that he, and only he, knew what I was up to. Shuna had covered up for my absence with outstanding excuses. I've got to thank her later. Right now, I'm more focused on tracking Shizu and Chloe. Master, I've confirmed where their battle took place. It was outside of Ingracia, near the East Gate. They went outside? That explains why they got attacked. But the question still remains, why would Yuki send someone to attack? Either way, I'm not stopping until I find both of them and bring them back. What happened here? The green grassy area was nothing but scorched earth. The sheer damage suggested that the fight was extremely bad, extending across a 40-meter radius. I suspect Shizu held back somewhat. After all, she was with the kids. If she had truly exerted her full power, this place would look far worse. Unfortunately, it seems I can say the same for her opponent. Shizu had been captured along with Chloe. Hold on, where are the other kids? I can confirm that they are safe, Master, although some are injured. They're buried under that pile of debris. What? How can you say they're safe when they're literally buried under heavy rocks? Hold on, I got this. Aura. Eh? Phew, if it had taken us more time to break that boulder, I'm afraid Gale would have exerted himself too much. Explain. Individual Gale summoned his contracted spirit to prevent any boulders from crushing them. I see. That must be why Gale looks so exhausted. Either way, I'm glad they're safe. Alice, watch out! Ryota shouted. Just as Gale took a rest, a huge boulder came rolling down toward Alice at high speed. Alice! Eh? Rimuru-sensei, cried Alice. Hey, it's been a while. I'm sorry for not visiting more often. Before the boulder could make contact, Rimuru suddenly appeared in front of Alice. Rimuru stretched out his hands and flicked the boulder, using corrosive elements to immediately disintegrate the huge rock. Rimuru-sensei! Alice ran and hugged Rimuru the second she understood what had happened. It's okay now. I'm here to protect all of you. I swear I'll find Shizu and Chloe. So you know about that? Is that why you came here? Precisely, although I had intended to come over without things turning out like this. Rimuru's warm smile calmed the kids' anxious hearts before they ultimately clung to him, crying the tears they had held back. I'm sorry, you guys. If I had paid more attention, this wouldn't have happened. No, this wasn't your fault. Yeah. It's kind of dangerous here, seeing as we're still in the place where Shizu fought the kidnapper. Let's go. I'll take you somewhere safe. Rimuru reached out his hand, and without hesitation, Alice, Kenya, Ryota, and Gale took it. The next thing they knew, they were already at Rimuru's nation, the country of monsters, Tempest. Whoa, is this where Rimuru-sensei lives? Asked the kids. Yep, that's right. You'll be staying here from now on. Ingracia will become dangerous for all of you if you stay there. Would you please bear with it for now? No, Rimuru-sensei is already doing so much for us. We'll gladly live in the same place as you. Alice said. Yeah. thank you. In the meantime, make yourselves at home. While I was preparing for the kids to stay at my home, I wasn't neglecting my search for Shishu and Chloe. I've tracked down the location, Master. Preparing immediate measures. All right. Let's go and say hi, shall we, Sile? Yes. Shishu's muffled words echoed throughout the spacious room. They had been trapped inside a remote area with no visible way of escape. Chloe was unconscious, knocked out using paralysis magic. Shishu continued to struggle, hoping to break the chains tying her up. But it seemed useless. No matter how much force she exerted, the chains wouldn't budge. Those chains are enhanced with my magic, Sensei. Along with some other measures too, but that's not important right now. A black-haired man hidden behind the shadows spoke. Yuki, why? Was it you who ordered this? Me? Why, no. Why would you blame me for such a thing? I merely told her some secrets only she and I know. What's so wrong about that? Yuki, let us go, and I promise we won't blame you. Oh, but what can you really do? Call a god or something? No one can help you. You're wrong. But please let us go, even if it's just Chloe. I'll do whatever you want. Oh, so anything, right? At this point, Yuki appeared with an ominous smile, looking down upon Shishu. Shishu had a hard time believing what her eyes were seeing. The Yuki she knew wasn't like this. What had happened to him? Where did she go wrong? Well then, in exchange for letting Chloe go, you'll belong to my faction. Shishu angrily stared at Yuki, but there was nothing she could do. All she could do right now was wait. Well then, let's settle this. Yuki leaned in toward Shishu to inspect her bindings. While Yuki believed he held all the power, a far more formidable presence appeared right before his very eyes. Shishu's hair slowly turned into a majestic shade of platinum blue, her clothes transforming into a sleek black outfit that changed shape as well. Yuki was in deep confusion at this. He stopped in his tracks before he could do anything else. As he looked up, he saw a different person, a maiden with the same facial features as Shishu, yet infinitely more elegant and powerful. He, who had smiled like a master manipulator, began to shrink in immense fear. He looked up to see a smiling maiden, but to him, that smile featured only the deepest pits of hell, locking his movement with a smile of death. She grabbed Yuki's face with both hands, saying 5 quiet words. I've got you now, Yuki. Chapter 38, Wrath 2. I've got you now, Yuki. Yuki immediately tried to distance himself from Rimuru, but Rimuru did not let him go easily. Yuki continued trying to free himself, punching, kicking, and doing anything he could to get free. However, not a single attack had any effect at all. Rimuru, on the contrary, sat and glared at Yuki like he was looking at a defective product. It almost seemed as if Rimuru hadn't noticed Yuki was attacking at all. Boss, a clown-masked person cried out. Laplace? Stay back! Yuki screamed. It seemed that Yuki's companions had noticed the sudden change of events. Laplace was the first to arrive, and the others soon followed. What's going on, boss? Tear asked. Tear was a masked Majin, a little girl dressed in clown-like attire. Damn it! Get away from here, now! It was impressive that Yuki could converse with his friends while being held down by Rimuru. Not long after, the gravity of the situation started to kick in. Not one of them could make a single move, for Rimuru's dominant presence sealed them in place. Ah, what was it again? The Harlequin Alliance? It seems that all of its members, excluding the deceased Clayman, are here. What? How do you know about the Alliance? Laplace shouted. Simple. Thanks to that brain-dead demon lord, I had plenty of time to investigate all of you. Amidst Rimuru's sentence, Yuki tried to free himself again. But Rimuru simply slammed Yuki's head into the floor, stood up, and pinned him down completely. Boss! Footman, unable to bear it any longer, charged at Rimuru with murderous intent. "Are you sure? Can I take that as your consent to die?" Rimuru asked. Yuki lifted his head with all his might, prioritizing a warning to Footman. "Footman, stop! Don't come near this monster. I'd rather eliminate them all right now, but I'm not sure a quick and easy way out like death would be a fitting punishment. Oh God, I'm starting to sound like those torturous maniacs I saw in anime and manga." Either way, they were all stuck there, afraid to move. I might have been able to laugh, but my anger prevented me from doing so. "Now then, might I ask you something, Yuki?" I asked in a polite manner, though my tone was the exact opposite. "Why? Why did you want to capture Chloe and Shishu? Are you that foolish?" Yuki was clever, so I assumed he would counter my words, but it seems I was wrong. I have to hand it to him, he's clever enough to know he can't do anything against me. The other fools were on the verge of crying out and lashing at me. Should I intimidate them? Yes, let's do just that. I'll release Dragon Spirit Aura onto these guys to make them feel total futility. Answer me. Why? Still giving me the silent treatment? Then I shall show you despair. I lifted my foot, and he immediately tried to escape. He rolled his body and fired explosive magic at me. It wasn't aimed at me specifically, instead, he used the recoil to propel himself backward. Once Yuki was free, they began to flee. Do you honestly think you can run from me, Yuki? Boss, what was that? Laplace asked. I don't know, but it's best if we let him handle Rimuru. That's impossible. Our bargaining chip is already gone. Why would he listen to us now? Laplace was right. One of the reasons for capturing Chloe was to earn the cooperation of a certain demon lord. Still, Chloe is what he wanted, and Rimuru has her now. We could use that as an excuse for the time being. Yuki knew that Rimuru was powerful, perhaps even more powerful than his ally. Even so, he decided that his ally would fare better against Rimuru. If Rimuru were using skills, Yuki might be able to find a workaround and fight him. But what Rimuru displayed just now was pure, brute strength with no skills involved whatsoever. Furthermore, when Yuki fired that explosion earlier, it wasn't just an ordinary burst to help him escape. That attack was comprised of Yuki's best technique and a huge chunk of his magicules. Yet Rimuru took it head-on, without a single scratch. That's why Yuki decided to escape, though deep down he knew even that was pointless. Ah! The moment they exited the facility, Tear disappeared. Yuki desperately tried to find her, but to no avail. Yuki, listen here. I don't know what crossed your mind, but if you try to capture my friends again... Rimuru appeared in the sky, holding Tear by the collar. Yuki stiffened, trying to think of ways to free Tear. Rimuru raised his sword with a swift movement toward Tear, with full intention to strike. But before he could make contact... Wait! Rimuru's blade stopped right before Tear's neck, sending Tear shivering in fear. So, want to speak up now? I was requested to capture Chloe. Shishu only got caught up in it. Yuki wasn't particularly acquainted with Rimuru in this timeline. On the other hand, Rimuru knew all about Yuki's personality and cunning tactics. Is that so? Then I assume that the one who requested you to capture Chloe was Demon Lord Leon. Am I right? For the first time, Yuki showed genuine concern on his face. How did he know? Who told him that Leon was the one who requested it? Such questions swarmed Yuki's mind. If you're wondering how I know, the answer itself lies within Chloe. Other than that, I simply know everything. Hiya! Then, as if popping out from nowhere, Kigali appeared behind Rimuru, preparing a diagonal slash. Fool! Don't! Rimuru decided to discard the now unconscious Tear, tossing her toward Kigali. Kigali had her sword ready to strike Rimuru and couldn't draw it back in time, accidentally striking Tear instead. I decided to toss Tear away because of a sudden upcoming problem. Seriously, I just wanted to teach Yuki a lesson, but more trouble had to appear. Great. Now that I think about it, why would Yuki do this? He wasn't like this before. He would usually take advantage of people and manipulate them when their backs were turned. He didn't actually kidnap Chloe back then. Maybe that was because I was protecting them. Did he take action because I wasn't the one directly guarding them? Maybe that's the case, but that doesn't mean Shishu failed to protect them. I personally think Shishu's strength surpasses Benimaru's. What's going on, Yuki? Where's Chloe? Oh. If it isn't Demon Lord Leon. Well, I'm afraid to say that person over there took Chloe to someplace I don't know. Leon, perplexed by his words, looked at me in surprise. What I didn't expect was the person accompanying him. Oh, so Rimuru's involved in your situation, hey, Leon? This is quite an interesting turn of events. Guy? I muttered. Goddamit, why is everything such a hassle? I still have some anger left for Yuki, but what happens if these two get involved? I genuinely don't want to find out, but if a fight breaks out, God knows who will be able to stop me. Chapter 39, You're in the Way. What now? Why do you two appear at the worst possible time? What a surprise. To think that powerful monster was you, Rimuru, Guy exclaimed. Powerful monster? What kind of nickname is that? I thought you were better than that, Guy. Whatever. Those two aren't my target. My real targets just ran away the moment I got distracted, sprinting off and leaving a huge trail of destruction. To think that little rat thinks he can run from me. Wait! Leon shouted before Rimuru could go after Yuki. Is it true that you have Chloe? He asked. Yeah. After Rimuru confirmed the question, he disappeared in an instant. What now, Leon? Guy asked, smiling. I don't know if I'll be able to take back Chloe at this rate. I can only hope that Demon Lord Rimuru has the best intentions for her. Sure he does. I know a little bit about that guy. He's not one to kill for no reason. Coming from you, that's not the least bit reassuring. Oh, that hurts. Why are you so cold to me, even after asking for my help? HMPH. That's not true, you just wanted to tag along. Leon had received word from Yuki that he had successfully secured Chloe Belle, the girl Leon had been searching for. He had also received word that a powerful monster was guarding Chloe, and that Yuki needed help to keep her safe. Naturally, Leon had his doubts, but he couldn't care less about the man's credibility. As long as he could confirm Chloe was in his hands, he would come and save her no matter the cost. Alas, the unexpected always happens. The powerful monster Yuki mentioned was none other than Demon Lord Rimuru, truly a powerful foe. Leon had already doubted whether he could win against him when he first saw Rimuru. Clayman's spectacular death and Rimuru's duel against Milim left him with no choice but to back down. However, there was one card he could play, a double-edged sword, if you will. Guy Crimson, the fearsome overlord that Veldanava entrusted to mediate the world. When Leon set out for Yuki's domain, Guy had come over to visit him. Whether it was a coincidence or planned, Leon had the option to ask for Guy's help. Guy, tell me honestly. Do you think you could win? Against you? Guy jokingly said. No. You know who I mean. Leon brushed off Guy's words, replying in a cold tone. Honestly, the chances are balanced. It would all depend on luck if we fought, mostly mine. Oh, you being like that is unexpected. I was sure you would say something like I wouldn't know unless I try. In other words, I don't think I can win. Guy had a habit of making jokes with a straight face, but this time, Leon noticed how serious he was. In any case, if it's him, maybe I can ask to meet Chloe. With that thought in mind, Leon and Guy withdrew to their own territories. Breathing heavily with exhausted bodies, Yuki and his comrades ran desperately from the being named Rimuru Tempest. They didn't care how much destruction occurred, all they prioritized was reaching their destination. There was a reason Yuki provoked Rimuru. After all, no one in their right mind would anger someone like him. But this was Yuki, after all. Boss! It's bad. Our defenses are getting destroyed. Idiot. That's a given. There's no way anything we have would work on that monster. Urk. It seemed Laplace was hoping to slow down Rimuru by using everything at their disposal. Don't you think he's going easy on us? Kigali asked. Yeah. If he weren't, we'd already be dead by now. Yuki had his doubts about Rimuru's strength. When they first met, he received an appraisal-countered result when trying to ascertain Rimuru's power. Yuki was a fairly powerful man, comparable to Hinata in terms of strength. For his appraisal to not only be blocked but countered meant Demon Lord Rimuru already knew how strong he was, giving his opponent the blueprint to defeat him. His suspicions were right. The fact that they were still running and not carcasses meant Demon Lord Rimuru had already judged Yuki and the others to be small fry. Furthermore, Yuki's trump card, anti-skill, had utterly failed to work on Rimuru. That meant Demon Lord Rimuru's power was far beyond anti-skill's capabilities. Boss! I know. Just don't look back. We're almost there. Turning back now would be the same as forfeiting their lives. The sheer pressure coming from behind made them miserable. It was right there, the place they were hoping to reach. Just a few meters away, they would be free from Demon Lord Rimuru's grasp. However, right before entering the domain of a certain emperor, their surroundings turned entirely black, far from the blue skies and green landscapes they had hoped to see. It was a pure void of darkness. Literally, a void displayed on a grand scale. What's going on? Cried Footman. This isn't the place the Emperor told us about. Laplace exclaimed. Laplace was right. The Emperor's land was supposed to be in the east, not in empty space. What are we going to do, Yuki? Tear asked. To be frank, I'm also at a loss. But first things first, do you guys feel like anything's out of place? No, I feel just fine. I think nothing's wrong with me, Laplace said. Nothing's wrong? But weren't we just running at full speed earlier? Footman pointed out. You're right. I don't feel the slightest bit of the fatigue I felt a moment ago, Kigali said in surprise. I knew it. Something's off. Why would the Emperor transport us to a place like this? And our previous fatigue disappeared as well. As Yuki was pondering the wrong things, a certain slime appeared from the void directly in front of them. Hello. My name is Rimuru Tempest. I'm not a bad slime, you know, the slime said in a friendly and welcoming tone. However, his aura was not the slightest bit friendly at all. Fear. Anxiety. Regret. These three words were sufficient to describe their expressions as they saw the slime. I believe you've had plenty of time to scheme something up, Yuki. Now, what do you have in store? Yuki was barely holding onto his consciousness, standing still as if trying to put up a tough front. Speak. I don't recall you being chained by fear on any occasion. We've seen each other earlier. With each word the slime spoke, his aura grew exponentially darker and more oppressive. What could have happened? Yuki Kagurazaka. Chapter 39, Offer. Wait. Sile. Intimidation. Am I not doing just that? No. You're basically threatening them. Right. Sile says with a dissatisfied tone. 20 minutes earlier. Master, the location Chloe and Shishu are in is near the east. To be exact, on the borderline of the Empire. The Empire? Wait, how did he get that far so quickly? Most likely, he was assisted. Ah, right. I do recall Yuki went to the Empire to escape, but that was far off into the future, a year later, I should say. Master, you're forgetting the most important part. Yeah, what would that be? Master's appearance this time is severely different from how it usually went. Yuki must have been extra cautious toward the master and decided to temporarily escape from your grasp. Then why did he kidnap Chloe and Shishu? I'm not sure, but it seems he somehow was made aware of Chloe's true identity and immediately contacted Demon Lord Leon to retrieve her, hoping you would redirect your anger from him. Clever asshole. Well, I know Leon has good intentions, so I don't really mind if Chloe ends up in his hands. But what's more pressing is that Chloe is still in Yuki's hands, as well as Shishu. The area seems to be affected by a barrier. I need to disarm it from the inside in order to destroy it. Can you access it from the inside? Of course. Then go right ahead, wait. Confirming body invasion by targeted user's own will, confirmed. I will now be using Shishu's body as a medium to operate from the inside, Lord Rimuru. Once again, I was too late to stop her. If Yuki's trapping himself inside, then there's no reason for me to open it so that he can escape. Well, that was purely my fault. She just makes it sound so easy that I unconsciously allow it. I wonder what's going on in there. Well, it's StaciaPLE we're talking about here, there's no need for me to worry. 3 seconds later, I hear screaming as the barrier disappears. Is that Laplace? Why is he screaming like that? Run! Yuki, there you are. But why is he also running with that expression? Did something scary happen? It can't be, can it? After trying to escape from reality, as if trying to prove to me my delusions were unnecessary, StaciaPLE, who was using Shishu's body, was chasing Yuki and company with her cold, emotionless expression. StaciaPLE, what did you do to them? Why do they have expressions like death's door is reaching out to them? Intimidation. Incredibly suspicious, but it seems StaciaPLE knows what she's doing. I've got business to deal with regarding Yuki, so seeing him scared shitless like that honestly relieves some of my anger. Ah, well, look who showed up. I expected Leon to show up, but Guy? No way. StaciaPLE murmurs something under her breath that sends severely cold shivers down my spine. At this rate, Yuki's going to die before I interrogate him. StaciaPLE, don't kill them. At least not yet. Roger? You don't look like you understand at all. Think fast, me. I racked my brain to prevent StaciaPLE from accidentally killing Yuki and the others. I also increased my thought acceleration to 1,000,000 times to give me more time to think. A few minutes later, or what seemed like a few minutes to me, I thought of absorbing Yuki and company into my imaginary space. Great, this should work, probably. I quickly caught up with Yuki and the others using Argo, since I'm currently in imaginary space myself. I motioned my hand into a reaching position, then activated parts of soul consumption to absorb Yuki and company into my imaginary space. I did it! It seems like I was successful. Or not. Noticing me absorb Yuki and company, StaciaPLE just casually entered as well. It seems her intimidation tactic is effective. After all, she's following it through to the end. Wait. StaciaPLE. Intimidation. Intimidation. Am I not doing just that? No. You're basically threatening them. Right. StaciaPLE says with a dissatisfied tone. Thankfully, StaciaPLE had given up on her intimidation tactics. What am I going to do now? They're scared past the point of no return. Hey! All of a sudden, a message via telepathy reached me. What do you want now, Guy? Nothing much. It's just, could you negotiate with me? With what? That Yuki person. I want his life. Who? What the hell are you saying? Okay, I'm sure you misunderstood me there. What I mean is, I want to, let's say, take care of that boy. I've got uses for his existence. And what would you negotiate for a top hostage of mine? I could send Velzet to do a formal bow in front of you. Even as a joke, that is incredibly rude toward her. Stop playing around. Ahaha. Humor me for once, will you? Okay, this is my offer, I'll give you Mizari and Rain. As he finished his offer, my mind temporarily disappeared from reality for a fraction of a second. Lies. I'm not lying. Listen here, Rudra seems to have an especially deep interest in this boy, so I was hoping to use this man as one of my pawns. We shouted at each other back and forth a couple of times. Then, after calming down, I addressed Guy's offer with a sharp tone. I decided to let Guy enter my imaginary space for multiple reasons. You can probably guess some of them. Guy, do you realize what you're offering? It's too unrealistic. Mizari and Rain are primordials, while Yuki is just another mere pawn for you. I spoke without turning to look at him. I'm not that stupid, you know. I've got my own reasons for doing this, he replied. If I get Rain and Mizari, that would mean I would be subordinating a total of 6 of the original demons, aka primordials. Yeah, I think you're capable enough for that. Look here, Guy. Having 4 of them is bad enough for negotiating with humans. What would 6 even do to the image the world sees me as? It's mostly up to you, really. Don't you already have a positive image of yourself to humans? Then it's no problem if you get 2 more. You're the only one who thinks that way. Maybe having Diolo here will help. Actually, that would just worsen the situation, so to hell with that. And what about Miss Mizari and Miss Rain's opinion? Surely they themselves have doubts about me. No. I've already thoroughly beaten into them the point of serving you. So you planned this, huh? I'm still not buying it. No way you'd just give up the 2 of them so easily. And you used to complain about the balance of the world. Look who's talking now. Unless he has some other motives, which he seems to have, could it be? Could it be that you just want to be on my good side? At my question, Guy flinched in surprise. I shifted myself to face him properly. Yeah, you could say that. You rampaging will undoubtedly be much worse than that idiot's tantrum from back then. Why would he give up 2 of his most important subordinates just so he could be on my good side? I guess I can never understand a person like him's way of thinking. All right, I'll consider it. But first, I have to interrogate my prey. Right, I'll be waiting right here. Chapter 40, Regret. Let's forget about Guy for now. I still need to interrogate Yuki, but I'm afraid I would need to calm him down first. Come to think of it, Sile, where's Shizu's body? I know you transported Chloe. I checked and saw that she's successfully back at Tempest. I'm still currently occupying it outside your imaginary space. Is that so? Better return control over her body so that she can go and see that the kids are okay. Understood. What were you even doing, anyway? Well, Master has already realized this, but there was a barrier right in front of where Yuki originally was before Master brought them here. Eh? Thanks to your quick thinking, Master, Yuki, and the others failed to reach their destination. But it seems that the barrier had soldiers stationed right inside. They had a full visual of us while they were invisible to the naked eye from the outside. Okay, so Yuki wasn't heading in a random direction then, good to know. But why would he rely on a barrier like that? It won't stop me from chasing him if it's just that, unless something was going on behind the scenes. Maybe the Emperor has something to do with this, but it's no use thinking about things that will not happen now. Yuki and the others seem to have calmed down a little, so I'll take this as my chance to interrogate him. Hey! What do you want? His composure was barely visible when he responded to me. Isn't it obvious? I'm here to ask you why. I would have liked to say why would I tell you that, but even my own brain failed to follow what I had intended to reply. True, Sile did go overboard in smoking you out, but that's not my problem. All right, all right. Stop looking at me like that, Yuki hastily said. I heard from a friend of mine something interesting. At first, I was going to deny the offer and propose to postpone it maybe a year later. But I noticed something, and that something was you. While still shaking, Yuki faced Rimuru eye to eye with as much hostility as he could muster. I had everything under control at Ingrassia. But when you first appeared along with Shishu-sensei, everything went south immediately. I was busy with Clayman's troops at the time. Then, you immediately went to see the kids after a brief meeting with me. I had no time to spare going after you. To be honest, if Shishu-sensei weren't there at the time, I would have tried to fight you, but lucky for me, I didn't get the opportunity. Did it seem like that? I was simply prioritizing Shishu's wish in saving the kids. Nonsense. I knew that you were avoiding me on purpose. It's like you knew where and when I'd be. I knew I had to do something to send you away, so I asked Clayman to do something for me. Fortunately, you did leave, enough time so that I could have contacted that friend of mine. But I had to distract you somehow, so I asked that woman to capture one of your precious students. So it wasn't you that did the kidnapping, you had someone else do the deed. Even so, are you stupid? Your plan only ended up like this. Capturing the students was the mistake you made. I can't believe that you failed this badly. I thought you were better than this, Yuki. Hey! Don't talk to our boss like that. A fat, masked clown of a man shouted from behind. Yeah. You know, we were interrupted by a damn demon. This time, it was a little girl with pink hair, also masked, who looked like someone from a circus staff. Yeah. The final 3 masked clown figures hesitantly shouted. Lively, are we? Good. Now you can start spilling more beans. Speak up. I put some pressure on my last few words. Hey, they were lively enough to shout at me from that far, they won't shrink in fear with just this. Attention master, a powerful presence is nearby from Yuki's last location in the material world. Who? Velgrind. Excuse me? Velgrind, one of the true drag. I get it. Is she supposed to be the one escorting Yuki and his companions? Too bad, I've already got them locked up here. It seems Guy also noticed her. Is he going to go there? Whatever, at least he's distracted with something else. So our ride came late. TCH, what dumb luck, Yuki murmured. So, who was that demon that intercepted your departure, Yuki? Hell if we know. That demon just suddenly appeared right when we were about to depart. He was angry for some reason, saying stuff like you dare anger our lord. You will pay. He spouted so much similar stuff that we were baffled and stupefied, and it splendidly held us back quite a lot. It wasn't Yuki that replied, it was Footman. Heh, I was scared at first, but in the end, he was all bark and no bite. My eyebrows furrowed at Laplace's words. Then what the hell happened? This time, Yuki replied. A minute before you appeared, he retreated saying these few words, it seems I ran out of time. Well then, goodbye, while smiling in the most devilish way possible. Come to think of it, why didn't you run for it in that minute anyway? But enough of this, I got just the bare minimum I could. Yuki's still hiding several pieces of the puzzle from me, but I can make do with this for now. I've got to confirm the authenticity of Yuki's words with a certain subordinate of mine. I think I've heard enough for now. With that, I separated myself from Yuki and his comrades. I also placed them into different dimensions inside imaginary space. I returned to Guy after doing so. So, how did it go? Pleasant, although I wish it could have gone more toward excellent. So, what about my deal from earlier? Well, aren't you being pushy? His offer sounds too good to be true, so I'm assuming he's got something else in mind. It would be beneficial for my conscience if Guy were to take care of Yuki rather than him being in Shun's prison. Also, I need to go and confirm Mizari-san's and Rain-san's consent to this monstrosity of a deal. My reply is on the verge of agreeing with you, but I'll have to confirm for myself whether or not Mizari-san or Rain-san fully consents to serving me. That's fine, but would you stop calling them formally? It ticks me off. I'll do that when the time comes. Sure. Anyway, just go to my domain and talk to the two. They're usually at my castle throne waiting for me. I'll see you there after I've dealt with that. Sure, see you then. Strange. Rudra said they were supposed to be here. Yo. What? Now, don't make a fuss. I'm not here for violence. Strange, all I remember seeing you do was violence. Why is he here? What the hell? Is that why Yuki's not here? Damn it, he got ahead of us. I've got to be careful here, he could end me if I make the wrong move. Why so on guard? I already told you I'm not here to fight. Since you're silent, I'll just state my business and be quick. I've got a guest waiting for me back home. What is he planning? Like hell I'd tell you. You are not getting in Rudra's way, not while I'm your opponent. I'll ask again, what is he planning? I only made my move since it seemed he had been doing something behind the scenes. Ah. Such pressure. Not here for violence, my ass. I don't have an obligation to tell you, or never did and never will. What Rudra does with his pawns has nothing to do with you. This may be a bad move, but in order to keep myself composed, I projected my own aura back at him to counter the pressure he was exerting. Ha ha ha. It would seem that is the case. Well, I guess I won't warn you of his doom then. I didn't come here with empty hands, you dumb lizard, I've got my own share of info. But you've kept your mouth tight, and so will mine be. What? Rudra's doom? If he's trying to provoke me, then it's working. But if his words were true, then it could mean things are going badly for us. TCH, I hate this guy so much. Oh, finally willing to talk now? Excellent. Rudra's subordinate, Damrada, asked Rudra to spare him some time to discuss something privately. Even I don't know what they talked about. But Rudra asked me afterward to go get some new recruits, so I did, and here I am. Something within my expectations, this is fine. My warning to him is a simple one. Tell him this, whatever the hell you're planning, Rudra, be absolutely sure to involve no one else but me and you. Otherwise, you might stumble across a pebble, one that would trip you and give me the opportunity to finish you off. True, his words were simple enough to follow, but the meaning behind them is as deep as an abyss. I've got to inform Rudra as soon as possible. No time to waste. I'll just ditch this guy and inform Rudra immediately. Rudra, no matter what, I'll always support you. Chapter 41, Master of Demon's Eye. I just realized this, but where do I enter? What do I mean by that? Well, Guy's castle, of course. I'm not there yet, but I used Argo to scan ahead just in case. As you can see, I don't see a way to enter without using a skill to teleport inside. Guy's frozen kingdom is as it sounds, a huge castle, bigger than any I've seen back on Earth or in this world. Its design is incredible. I can only imagine how long it would have taken humans to build such a magnificent, lustrous, enticing castle. If the master wants, I can prepare a castle befitting one such as yourself. Thanks for the offer, but I don't see it as necessary. One thing I'm amazed at, and the next thing I know, Sile recreates it for me. We'd only waste materials if we actually built such a thing. Actually, I've analyzed Guy's castle for certain purposes. His castle isn't built using normal physical materials, rather, it's made of magicules. Interesting. Once Ramiris and I rebuild the labyrinth soon, I'll take that into account. But a castle made of magicules, huh? I suppose something like that is made of something unique. Perhaps it's built similarly to Ramiris's labyrinth, via the use of a skill. That is indeed the case, Master. Is that why there's no front door? Never mind. All right, I'm near the borders of the palace, but as I was just saying, there's no obvious way to enter. I don't want to break in without permission. I can't teleport in just like that either. There's a barrier surrounding the castle, and if I break it, someone's bound to notice. Guess I'll have to wait for Guy. Welcome, esteemed Lord Rimuru. Right before I was going to retreat to my imaginary space, a familiar voice called out to me from the direction of the castle's frozen gates. The next thing I knew, a bunch of important-looking people all kneeled, except for the one talking to me. "Are you here to escort me?" I asked. "Indeed that is the case, Your Majesty." Her choice of words was making me somewhat uneasy, considering I knew her identity. But this could also be considered a diplomatic stance toward me personally. Thank God I had managed to perfect my poker face, otherwise the whole Dworgen speech ordeal would happen again. With that in consideration, I might as well act like the ruler of my nation, not that I usually don't seem like one. "I'm pleased by such a warm welcome, Velzard. It is our honor to hear that. Lord Guy will be here shortly. These two will be taking care of you in the meantime." Once her words ended, two demons stood up. "These two will show you around the place. Feel free to ask them for anything you'd like, things such as food, a place to rest, those kinds of things." In response, I elegantly nodded my head. Like a chain reaction, almost all the demons present in front of me quickly disappeared into the shadows. Velzard said something like, "I am going to wait for Lord Guy right here. Please head inside first, Your Majesty." I have to say, Guy's castle looks as impressive inside as it does on the outside. The shiny surfaces of the walls, the floors, even the furniture look extremely alluring. He wouldn't mind if one object disappeared, right? No, asshole, you've got no time to be admiring such things. But do we have things like those at Tempest? Your Majesty? What's wrong? Mizari asked. Nothing. I was just in awe of this place. You guys maintain it so well. Thank you very much. We always do our best to do our jobs. You wouldn't expect such high-ranking demons to call being a maid a job. Just how obedient can one of them get? Oops, started to wander the wrong way there. Not long after, I was led to a guest room near the eastern part of the castle. As I'd expect from Guy, he's got good taste. Though, most of the stuff here is made of ice. I wonder what would happen if you placed a fireplace in the middle. Would it melt? Or would the fire go out? Master, individual Guy Crimson has arrived and is heading toward here. Got it. His absurd deal earlier still doesn't feel right to me. Yo, Rimuru. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's fine. I just got here after all. There was a heavy silence as he approached to take his seat. Then, all of a sudden, he exerted pressure as he got serious, without any hostile intentions, of course. So, have you given it some thought, Rimuru? To be honest, I want to refuse. Oh, and why is that? To me, it seems like this offer of yours has more than meets the eye. It's unfair to you no matter how I look at it. You don't have to look at it so deeply. At least, in this case, you don't have to. My eyebrows raised slightly as he finished his sentence. Look, you may think that it's a trap or some elaborate plan I've made against you. But that's not what it is. I know most of what I'm doing, consequences, results, gains, all of that I've given careful consideration. I tilted my head in silence, prompting him to continue. It's still too early to reveal everything I know, but trust me on this one. You are the one who was supposed to lead them. I'm an exception just because of Veldanava's will. So I won't be able to explain it to you fully. His words, his actions, and his sincerity reached me properly. I might appear calm both inside and outside, but my thoughts wandered off into confusion. What do you mean by you are the one who was supposed to lead them? That makes no sense to me at all. But his expression told me everything he said was the absolute truth. That tells me nothing I want to know, I said. Sigh, I knew it wouldn't be so easy. Listen here, your entire existence is shrouded in mystery. Only a few know about you, meaning only 3 of the 4 true dragons know who you are. 3 true dragons know me? I know all 3 knew me in the previous timeline, but Velgrin still isn't aware of my presence. Next to Guy, Velzad stood with an expression I never expected she could make, her mouth wide open, her eyes staring at Guy as if in complete disbelief. If I were to tell you how I saw it, it looked like a "how did you know that" expression. I might not know much, and I've tried squeezing as much information as I can. But none of the true dragons dare talk about you. I wonder why. Seeing this, Velzad looked at me awkwardly and immediately lowered her head in panic. Well, I was only asked to mediate the world, so I've got no right to meddle in Veldanava's affairs. I see. I don't have the slightest idea as to what you just talked about. But if you're this sure of yourself, then I suppose I'll entertain the idea. Great, then. However, what I said earlier still stands true. I need to ascertain that both Mizari and Rain want to serve me themselves. Go ahead. At this point, all his seriousness from earlier disappeared like mist in the air. He was as carefree as Milim when she's in a good mood. I silently retreated into my imaginary space and invited both Mizari and Rain inside. Both arrived successfully, and with my back turned to them, I asked, "Now then, what are your true feelings regarding this matter?" Chapter 42, Master of Demons 2. Now then, what are your true feelings on this matter? There was a good 5-second pause before one of the demon maids replied. Your Majesty, may I request one thing? Sure, go ahead. Would it be all right if we spoke without restraint? That would be the best course of action, actually. The two seemed so professional at being maids that I was concerned they were going to mince their words one way or another. Plus, it seems like the two talked to each other before this. I think they have already made their decision. All right, feel free to express your opinion in whatever way you want. Don't hold back on me. The two demon maids' faces tensed up slightly. They both looked at each other before turning back to me. To be honest, we both feel reluctant to be under you. Mizari spoke without restraint indeed, no punches pulled. Good. Wait, don't say it like that. He's going to misunderstand. Rain, although she seemed to be a diligent maid in front of the public eye, had a real personality that was quite different. It's fine. I understand why you would be reluctant to serve me just like that. What we meant to say is, our feelings of loyalty were always directed toward Lord Guy. In that, we feel like all we have done so far has been for nothing. Yes, Mizari is exactly right. Ever since we lost to Lord Guy, we had dedicated ourselves to serving him. So being told to serve someone else is the same as our efforts being denied. I didn't expect them to be this open with me. Still, it's nice to know that at least 2 of the 7 primordial demons have decent personalities, unlike the rest of their peers. Crap, why am I starting to feel like something is going to pop up out of nowhere? So, I'll take that as you actually don't want to serve me. No. We would still be honored to serve someone such as yourself, Rain replied. And? Are you going to choose to work for me half-heartedly? No. It's nothing like that. Under Lord Guy's orders, we were told to serve you. So we don't have much of a choice, do we? Hey! Quite the blunt person now, are we? Well, I don't mind in the slightest. In fact, it's quite surprising to see this side of the two. I've always had formal interactions with them, so seeing them like this is quite refreshing. Please be at ease, Miss Rain. I don't mind her choice of words. I see. Thank you for your forgiveness. Besides, it's too obvious. For a while, just like our conversation earlier, we began to exchange words back and forth. At the start, it was just like a conversation with someone you had just met. It was quite a relief, in all honesty. I thought they would still be somewhat formal with me. Our talk came about in a manner you would have with someone you met online and were meeting in real life for the first time. But there was one simple thing that was bothering me: they were not hiding their true intentions at all. In any case, I'll play along for now. It's obvious they want me to notice, so what would they do if I pretend I don't? Ah, Rimuru, you are quite the humorous man, said the girl who sarcastically uttered it. Hey, Mizari, would you quit being a bother? We're talking seriously here. So? It came with being your true self, right? I'm being who I am, what of it? While I might have had my back turned right now, I could feel Mizari sneaking glances at me to ascertain my reaction. They kept going on and on about this, eventually dragging people dear to me into it as well. If it were the old me, I might have snapped and gotten a little bit mad at them for their remarks. But it didn't faze me at all. I knew the things they said were all nonsense, with nothing to back them up. Besides, I had enough power to subdue them in the worst-case scenario. This had gone on for long enough, and it looked like one got a tad too impatient. Ah! One of the two accidentally released her aura. That was Mizari, who was currently releasing what seemed like a pent-up aura of hostility. Her instinct suddenly took control of her, making her lash out at me in the blink of an eye. Mizari! Stop it! Looks like Rain was bewildered as far as the situation went. I had some knowledge about what was going on, so I wasn't standing around dumbfounded. Still, as I would expect from a primordial, she had good reflexes. When she made a jump for me, hoping to slash my body in two, I tried to dodge and go behind her. But before I could actually do what I had intended to do, she jumped back with a hesitant face instead. I guess you would call that instinct rather than reflexes. Mizari started to cry out words that I assumed were supposed to do something to me. What are they, StaciaPLE? Confirmation, they are just cursed words in the demon language, Master. Rest assured, I won't get pissed. Usually, when you say that, it always happens the other way around. But whatever, I've got a primordial out for my blood, no time for chatter. Ah. Vitas quomodo soni significata Rimurus deficta. Mizari let out yet another cry, to which Rain reacted. What? Rain had a look of horror. By the next second, she as well had started to show signs of bloodlust toward me. She clutched her head, deep in pain, while looking at me with as much hostility as she could. As if on cue, Mizari and Rain immediately moved together in sync to attack me. Rain used some sort of mist to block my spiritual and visual view, while Mizari performed some sort of magic circle barrier to throw me off balance. I don't understand. Why would they do this? That's just my balance and view, not my skills. TCH, no time for questioning, here they come. Clang! The sound of Mizari's and Rain's claws slashing against my sword was quite loud because of the sheer impact caused by it. There was recoil at the moment of impact, but it only affected both of them. Me? I only stood there, having not moved a single step from where I originally was. By this point, I had a natural poker face, so you wouldn't know what kind of emotions I was having. I would have to distance them from me to sort out the situation first. I had thought acceleration active all this time since I pulled out my sword, so these two were still in the motion of receiving the recoil from the impact. They would get far with just the impact alone, but with their speed, they would close the distance in mere seconds. So I put some force into my grip and swung my sword horizontally. As I did that, I ended thought acceleration and came to the scenario of Mizari and Rain flying off far into the distance. This subspace was quite vast, though not as much as my imaginary space. Oh, and for the record, we were not in my imaginary space anymore, since they were not responding when I invited them to enter. I just used Guy's power to create this subspace. If we were in imaginary space, this fight wouldn't be happening at all. Like wild beasts, no, like true devils, the two approached me in a menacing manner. Mizari was approaching me with a weapon this time. She arrived right in front of me, about to swing her sword to cut me in half. I didn't panic, but for some reason, my body moved on its own. Or should I say, StaciaPLE, moved my body so that rather than deflect, she chose to take on the sword unguarded. I panicked at that time, for your information, but StaciaPLE seemed quite confident for some reason. The sword was about to hit my neck a millisecond later. I had prepared myself to get cut, but Mizari's sword breezed through the air as she sliced my neck, or so I thought. Mizari's sword broke in half. With both me and her bewildered, StaciaPLE launched a fist at her stomach, causing Mizari to fly away for miles and miles. I could see her even from this distance thanks to StaciaPLE and my enhanced senses. She had blood spilling out all over her body. I think StaciaPLE might have overdone that one. Hey, what were you thinking? You could have killed her. Not to worry, Master. I applied a little healing magic to that punch, which should heal her over time so she won't die, but she will still suffer. That's what she gets for insulting Lord Rimuru. What did she even say that made you that mad? Hell, you know more than I do about what's going on. Why did you smack her like that? Never mind. I might get lectured by you on something mind-boggling that I would prefer not to hear right now. Oh, where has Rain been, you ask? Well, see this mist forming all around me? Yeah, I think you get what I mean. I could just find her using analysis, but I've been doing stuff using sheer brute force lately, so let's do that. I start to focus. In my mind, I picture something like opening a bottle that is about to burst. What's inside that bottle is my spirit dragon Haki. That's right, I'll be using my aura to disperse this mist, with a touch of magic, of course. I'm going to have to yell like a certain character from a martial arts anime, to make myself look intimidating, of course. Why? I'd rather not say. The abundant, thick, deep mist surrounding me immediately dispersed like smoke being fanned out. If we were on the ground, the whole area would have been wiped out due to the sheer force of my aura. Oh, no time for chatting, here comes the fish. Just kidding. Rain finally appeared when I dispersed the mist, looking all suffocated and beaten up by the release of my aura just now. It was at this point that I decided to get serious about ending this charade. However, things were not going exactly as planned. You'll pay for what you've done to Mizari, Rimuru. Rain made up her mind and decided to attack me head-on once more. But? Kufu, who will pay for what exactly, Rain? A more sinister demon appeared. This guy, why did he show up now? Diablo, who suddenly appeared behind Rain in the form of black mist, grabbed her head and held her high. His grip was not loose at all, seeing Rain flail in pain while grabbing Diablo's hands, desperately wanting to separate them from her neck. It took some time, Lord Rimuru. But I've finished what you asked, Kufu. Chapter 43, Master of Demons 3. Kufu, I have arrived, Lord Rimuru, Diablo says with his usual grin. I can see that, though there's no need to tell me. Anyway, who in their right mind would enter, you know what, I think I know the answer. First guy dumps this problem onto me, and now Diablo shows up uninvited and unexpected. Actually, Master, Diablo tried to contact you via thought communication. But since this is a subspace created by Guy, naturally, Guy interfered so the message wouldn't pass through. So he did. Just how much does that guy plan on dumping on me? Guy Crimson has given Master an offer in disguise. I suggest looking back as to why Master Rimuru was so cautious of his offer. If you look at it like Master did, it would obviously be suspicious. Master not only caught wind of Guy's plans, but had already predicted what would happen. What? Who are you talking to? Guy Crimson noticed Mizari acting weird recently and decided to investigate further as to why that was so. He later found out that Mizari was being dominated of sorts. Of course, knowing Guy, he would immediately try to overrule it and liberate Mizari. Had he been successful, Master wouldn't be here dealing with them right now. Look here, I don't know who you're talking to, but could you keep an eye out as to what's behind Mizari's weird behavior? It ended up affecting Rain too. At this rate, I'd see even Diablo getting affected by it. Rest assured, Master. I won't let anything happen to your subordinates. That's reassuring to hear, really. But the situation is getting worse by the second. I would need to apply severe injuries just so I could have the time to properly observe any abnormalities on their physical bodies. As for their spiritual bodies, I can't say for certain. A very powerful domination curse, similar to Rudra's, is taking over them, mainly Mizari, though. Rain's at the state where she just got caught in the flow. Lord Rimuru, may I spare a moment? You say that to me with a straight face, damn it. Why are you speaking as if you're about to receive enlightenment? You're wide open. Crap, I blinked for 1 second and now Mizari is behind me. How did she regenerate so fast anyway? I didn't look behind me, even though I knew for sure I was going to get hit. It wouldn't do so much as scratch me if it hit. Ha! Even if I don't scratch you, I'll be able to send information about you to him. I was curious about who him was, but it wouldn't matter right now. She's not going to hit me anyway. Aura! Above me, someone let out a sound, and then I heard a clicking noise from a sword clashing into metal. You guys are late, said Diawolo. Sorry. If only a certain someone had brought us with him, it would have been so much easier. A blonde-haired girl, who is one of my demon commanders, Carrere, arrogantly replied to Diawolo with no hint of hostility or fear toward him. Exactly. I swear, getting inside was such a pain. A violet-haired girl entered the scene following Carrere. With a childlike, playful tone, she happily landed on Mizari's back. Now, we have Lord Rimuru to thank for giving us easy access to this sub-dimension. Don't forget to greet our master. Wait, what? I haven't done such a thing, though? In unison, ignoring my internal confusion, they immediately greeted me, and casually at that. Good evening, Lord Rimuru. Your servants are here to respond to your call. Look here, I don't remember calling anybody. Unless... I moved my glance toward Diawolo, who was still currently holding Rain down. Noticing my gaze, he smiled as weirdly as ever. So it was you, you bastard! All right. Now that everyone is here, I shall tell all of you the task that Master gave me, and how I successfully completed it. No need for that. All of a sudden, Guy came and butted in on Diawolo's upcoming long speech. All of us have gathered here, and now it's time to reveal why. Unlike all the times I've seen Guy, he was unusually, incredibly serious, much more than earlier. This put me in a rather uncomfortable spot, like something big was about to happen. Hey, I just realized I've been saying that a lot lately. What's up with me recently? Go on then. Surprisingly, even Diawolo was serious, though he still had that creepy smile. This led to a chain reaction. All the other girls started to get serious as well, making the mood tense. The only thing blocking it from completely sinking into a full-on war-like diplomatic meeting was Mizari's inaudible words. At this point, Rain was already knocked out. Diawolo had gone ahead and made her unconscious. Do you perhaps remember the last time we gathered like this? Guy asked. If you mean the time you visited Lord Rimuru's estate, then yes, Diawolo replied, as if stating something obvious. Ha, good. At that time, I was still ignorant about one particular thing. This is to make up for that. Strange. I was only standing there listening in, but I felt like I was the one controlling the flow of the conversation. I can't possibly describe this feeling right now. However, I felt something nostalgic when I was surrounded by them. It was as if my knights were surrounding me to protect me. What the hell is this? While they're out making serious discussions, all I'm doing here is listening in and feeling like I'm in charge. Stupid. I'm just imagining things again. Sile was doing something of her own too. I didn't quite get what was happening anymore. Like I said, what do you mean by Lord Rimuru is supposed to be dead? Whoa, calm down, Diawolo. Before I realized it, Diawolo had grabbed Guy by his collar and acted as if he was choking him. It seems their conversation had gone far. I only heard about it from Velzard. But she mentioned a being that looked exactly like Rimuru in the past. Looked like Lord Rimuru in the past? What do you mean? Honestly, I wasn't able to get much out of her. However, I did get one thing from her, it's that she recognizes Rimuru as family. Me, Diawolo, and the trio of demonesses behind us had our mouths agape from what Guy had blurted out. My mind felt like it was going on an infinite loop of lag. This remained for a good 5 minutes, just as processing his words, until Diawolo suddenly snapped. "Care to explain, Guy?" It surprised me, the way he acted. I've always seen him composed and calm, so him suddenly being rattled and shaken by something was new to me. "I hope you didn't take it the wrong way. I meant like sibling, like family." Guy also found his words preposterous, however, he continued on with a bit of hesitation. "She doesn't see Rimuru as someone like how she sees Veldora, quite the opposite, in fact." By this point, I had fully given all my attention to Guy's upcoming words. And before I continue, I want all of us, in our normal beings, to hear what I'm about to say next. He then proceeded to approach me with a slightly nervous expression. "Rimuru, can you release Mizari and Rain from the curse? Can't you do that yourself?" "Impossible. I would have done so already if I could. TCH, I was right when I thought he dumped Mizari and Rain on me by offering them to me. But still, what kind of curse was it to make even Guy fail to unlock it? Could I even unlock it myself if that's the case?" "No problem, Lord Rimuru. I've already finished analyzing the domination curse on them. However, I found some troublesome elements to it." Hearing Sile's hesitation in her voice made me think twice about making her tell the rest of the story. But if it made her this hesitant, it had to be super important. "Sile, please, don't hold back. Tell me everything you know." "Understood. I will now brief Lord Rimuru on the details of my analysis." Little did I know that what she had to say next would have a massive impact on my fate from now on. Chapter 44, Master of Demons 4. My analysis shows threatening signs of danger. Threatening signs of danger. As soon as I heard those words, my body tensed up. The source of the domination curse has a similar element to the attack used to transport Master back in time. "What?" Sile's tone was the same as ever, and her words were still as devastating as always. "What's wrong? What did you see?" asked Guy. This curse might be more troublesome than expected." My poker face had slightly slipped during that sentence, so Guy saw a fraction of my expression. As he saw my reaction, his body tensed up and he seemed on guard. "If even you have that concerning look, this might turn out to be more troublesome than expected." "Guy, explain already. What the hell is going on?" Carrere, no longer able to stand being in the dark, asked in an impatient tone. "Basically, when Velzard was just born, Veldanava and Rimuru had existed already. That's why Velzard reacted the way she did when she finally recognized who you were, Rimuru. My facial expression, my mood, my thoughts, they all went completely berserk when Guy stated that." "Why? What's going on with me?" "Warning, Lord Rimuru, your aura is leaking out at rapid paces. Interference detected. The origin of it is most likely the same as with the domination curse." "True, I couldn't control myself right now." "What the hell? All of you with me, cast your most powerful barrier. Do not hold back, no matter what." The demonic trio, Diawolo and Guy, in unison, cast the most powerful barrier they could muster. Guy led the direction of their powers and focused on containing Rimuru's raging spirit aura. Rimuru had a look of pain, though he himself did not know it. "What the hell, Rimuru? Just how powerful are you?" Even Guy struggled to contain Rimuru's power, even with the help of all his compatriots. TCH, if only I had unlocked Mizari's and Rain's curse, this would have been much easier with all of us. Though I hate to admit it, all of the primordials needed to be present to contain the disaster that would end the world. As if reading Guy's mind, Rimuru unlocked the curse right before him, resorting to other methods. "What? Impossible. I thought Rimuru was fighting the curse just now. How can he still unlock it in his state? I lost all connection to my body, making me unable to restrain myself manually. Crap, this is becoming worse and worse by the second. Sile, can you unlock Mizari's and Rain's domination curse right now? It's more important than controlling my own power at the moment." "As you wish, Master." "Wait, what did I just say?" "Ugh. I could mentally feel Sile focusing on lifting the curse and leaving my rampant energy uncontrolled. It was taking a huge toll on me, both mentally and physically. And for some reason, I felt incredibly weak. MRGH, what happened? Where am I? Mizari was the first one to wake up, with Rain following soon after. You two put up your strongest barriers now. I'll explain later. Although confused, the two immediately obeyed. The voice of the world suddenly spoke up. Condition met, all 7 original primordial demons' power synchronization complete. Guy, who had been expecting this, continued constructing a massive magic circle. The composition of the magic circle was similar to the one used to make the anti-magic barrier. However, this was obviously a much stronger version, an original barrier with 2 main purposes, constructed by Guy himself. You? Guy, what have you done? Diablo realized what Guy was planning on doing. Diablo began to sink deep into anger and resentment as he finally figured out Guy's true objective. That objective was the destruction of the individual named Rimuru. I don't mean any harm, Diablo. It's just that the task given to me by Veldanava was to mediate the world. I am only doing that. Why? Why does it have to be Lord Rimuru of all people? Why? Are you seriously asking me that question, Diablo? You and I used to be equals, but I had a far greater desire for power than you. The second our battle ended, I could feel your desire to grow stronger fade away. It was as if you were satisfied with yourself, no longer needing to gain anything. At the time, I understood, and at the same time, I didn't really care. I acknowledged you and treated you as a friend. But as time went on, I was already in the overworld, gaining more and more strength as time passed. I knew when I had taken off my limits there, I had grown more powerful than when we fought back then. I got a tad too arrogant during those times. Fortunately, I was snapped back to reality by a certain someone. I thought I had grown stronger, far stronger than when we fought back then, until I fought Veldanava, who completely destroyed me without even lifting a single finger. I had given up like you during that time, completely satisfied with my defeat. I finally completely understood how you must have felt when our battle was over. But that was only the beginning. After being given the role to mediate the world, I met with Velzard, whom I now call my companion. After our little brawl, Velzard questioned me over and over again about why I wielded such powers. I have to admit, the praise and criticisms from her really got to me. But I knew how insignificant my own strength was compared to her older brother. Every now and then we sparred, with me coming out on top every time, of course. I was surprised to see her asking for someone else's advice on how to grow stronger. But what bothered me was that it wasn't her brother she was asking. It was someone else entirely, someone I didn't even know existed. I got curious and followed her one day. She had a giddy, joyful, and somewhat infatuated look in her eyes when she was meeting with this person. That was when I saw her, a beautiful maiden who had the looks of a goddess. Clad in black, she had deep golden eyes that seemed to see through everything. One look and I knew I was no match for her. I had many questions, such as, why didn't Veldanava mention this person to me? If he knew about her, why make me the mediator? I stopped my pursuit, knowing full well what I was missing. But I also highly doubt that she hadn't noticed my presence. A bit of time passed, and my curiosity got stronger. I refrained from asking Velzard herself, and instead asked Veldanava himself. What I found out shook me the same way I felt defeat for the first time. Ah, you mean that person? I can't tell you due to our agreements, but I advise you never to challenge that person. You know, even I haven't defeated him once. What? But how can that be? Relax, you're stiff as a bone right now. Though I say I haven't defeated that person once, the same goes the other way, I haven't been defeated by him either. TCH, that just means she's someone who can equal you, no. As I said, don't worry. I placed you to mediate the world knowing full well that that person exists. It seemed that Veldanava was avoiding my question, so I let it be.